This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Elderly Old Harbour Bay Mason found dead at home. The Old Harbour Bay police in St. Catherine are probing the death of a man at his home in the community. It is being suspected that 63-year-old Mason Delroy Reed took his own life. But just get up and see him dead. I don't know what happened. His common-law wife told the news with her hands on her jaws. He was my younger brother and we normally work together. I don't know what happened and why him hung himself, said the deceased man's grief-stricken brother Albert Reed. A sister said she was saddened and was in disbelief. Our parents have 14 children and I can't believe him couldn't talk to one of us if there was a problem, the woman said. The body was removed to the morgue. Vendors in Spanish Town out but still shaken by gun violence. The streets of Spanish Town in St. Catherine were buzzing with sellers and commuters on Friday morning, as was customary before the outbreaks of gun violence earlier this week. Businesses were forced to close on Wednesday following a brazen daylight attack on Tuesday in the Market District that resulted in 3 people being killed, prompting the security forces to impose a 48-hour curfew. Vendors who ventured out in the area admitted to just working until half-day and then returned home, terrified of the worst. It was a different picture today with businesses and the vendors out in full force. This came as Prime Minister Andrew Holness today declared a state of public emergency for the parish of St. Catherine. The security measure, which gives the military personnel and the police greater authority to search and arrest, can only be in effect for 14 days and requires the consent of both houses of Parliament. Despite the increase in lawlessness and opposing gangs engaging in gun violence, some vendors along French Street, Oxford and the Burke Roads told the news that they couldn't afford to stay out of business. Enough vendors not come out yesterday, but it not bad still. We only know that we have life and we still can go on. But me not make true gunman make me stay home and not get no food and pay my bills, a market vendor said. However, some stated that the attack and the piercing sounds of gunshots that rang out near the local market had left them shaken. One fruit and vegetable vendor told the news that today was her first day returning outside since the attack on Tuesday. She said that despite the return, she did not know how long she would be out on the streets. From me look round, gone me gone, because with the condition of the situation, your mind not at ease. You don't know, so me not stay out too late, she said. Man in custody over slashing of brother's throat in Rockhall, St. Andrew. The brother accused of using a knife to cut the throat of his elder sibling in Rockhall, St. Andrew on Tuesday is now in police custody. St. Andrew North Police confirmed that the accused was held on Thursday. He was arrested by cops attached to the Red Hills Police. A long-standing domestic dispute between the two brothers turned physical near their Town Road home after an incident of stone throwing. The dispute reportedly stems from the younger brother's seeming desire to obtain a property owned by his older brother. The injured sibling reportedly received 8 stitches. On Tuesday, the police told the news that the accused man was known to them. He had reportedly been in and out of custody for several run-ins with the law. Persons traversing St. Catherine urged to travel with IDs and expect delays due to SOE. Residents and persons who travel through the parish of St. Catherine are being urged by the security forces to have a valid form of identification on them at all times. The security forces say this is important as there are heightened operational activities in the parish arising from the declaration of the state of public emergency in the parish today. Persons are also being alerted to be on the lookout for increased vehicular checkpoints. When approaching these operational areas, motorists are encouraged to slow down and roll down all windows. At nighttime, motorists should turn on their roof lights. The security forces are reminding motorists of their duty in law to stop when requested to do so. In addition, persons are being advised of the possibility of delays in the areas where vehicular checkpoints are set up, and as such, they should exercise patience and plan accordingly. Decomposed body found on beach along Palisadoes in Kingston. A decomposed body of a man was found along a beach on Palisadoes Road in Kingston this morning. The discovery was made about 8 o'clock by a passerby. The corpse is in an advanced state of decomposition. investigators have cordoned off the scene and are combing the area for clues. Taxi operator wins a court challenge against the SOE detention. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of St. James-based taxi operator Rashane Clark that his constitutional rights and freedoms were breached when he was detained during a state of emergency in 2018. Mr. Clark, who had been detained for months without charge, sued the government for what he said was his illegal detention and a violation of his rights. In its judgment on Friday, delivered by Justice Chester Stamp, the court held that Mr. Clark's fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution, his rights to liberty, right to be informed as a person for his detention as soon as practicable, and the right to be brought forthwith or as soon as practicable before an officer authorized by law or a court had been violated. The court said the Emergency Powers Regulations 22 and 32 and the Regulations 30, 33 and 38 breached the fundamental rights of freedom of movement and the freedom of liberty under the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms.
In respect to the fundamental right of freedom of movement, Regulations 30, 33 and 38 in respect to the fundamental right to freedom and liberty breach the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms of the Constitution. These regulations were declared unconstitutional as they gave the authorities unduly unfettered power to abrogate the fundamental rights of a wider class of persons in society without evidence establishing that they were reasonably justified for achieving the purposes of the state of emergency. The court also found and held that Mr. Clark's fundamental rights and freedoms under the Constitution, that is, his right to freedom and liberty, his right to be informed of the reason for his detention as soon as is reasonably practicable, and his right to be brought forthwith or as soon as is reasonably practicable before an officer authorized by law or a court had been violated, and that he is entitled to damages as redress for these violations. He was awarded a total amount of $17,862,000, inclusive of compensatory, vindicatory, and aggravated damages.
Wanted man captured and illegal gun seized in Gregory Park, Portmore. A wanted man was arrested and an illegal gun was seized by the police in the Gregory Park area of Portmore, St. Catherine this morning. Head of operations for the St. Catherine South Police Division, Superintendent Hopton Nicholson, says he was apprehended during a cordon and a search operation. Nicholson said the man was a person of interest who figured prominently in a number of criminal activities in the division in recent times. We will be using the emergency powers to full effect to address acts of criminality while we maintain the rights of all concerned, Nicholson said. A state of public emergency was today declared for the parish of St. Catherine. The Gregory Park community has figured in the police blotters with murders and shootings. On Wednesday, 2 bodies were found in a parked vehicle in the area. The matter is still being investigated. Woman sets a man ablaze after drink request refused. Residents of Negril were sent scampering on Thursday after a man was set ablaze by a woman who is believed to be mentally ill. Identified only by her alias Duppy, the man's clothes were completely burnt from his body. He suffered burns to his lower back. Eyewitnesses said the woman poured gasoline on the man and used a lighter to set him ablaze. The incident, which took place at Tate's Plaza, left pedestrians fearful the fire would spread to the motorcycles parked nearby, which could have resulted in an explosion. The fire department was alerted, however, and the danger was averted. An ambulance transported the injured man to the hospital. The woman's actions were roundly condemned. "She wicked, she's a wicked woman. Me have brother and sister. Me feel it, man," one man said angrily. An employee of Royal Delights Cafe located on the plaza where the incident occurred, who gave her name as Kamika, told the news that the woman had earlier tried to attack her and others. "God know me frightened. She grab at me and no catch me. So she set the poker box on fire," she said. Her co-worker, who opted not to provide a name, said the woman entered the cafe and asked for a patty and a drink. She had no money and a tourist gave her enough for a patty, which she bought. She later returned and demanded a drink. After her request was denied, she left, then returned and declared her intention to start a fire. She come in here with the gas in her jug and she have a lighter. She said she a go light the place afire. By the time me tell her say me go call the police, me hear me next co-worker say she light a man afire, the cafe employee said. She said the woman ran from the scene after setting the man ablaze, but was later seen passing on a motorcycle. There are unconfirmed reports that her father had been fatally shot last week and that may have left her unsettled. There have been numerous cases over recent years of people being attacked by mentally ill individuals, usually followed by calls for action by the police and mental health professionals. Under the Force Order publication, the police are required to respond promptly to reports regarding mentally ill people, whether they are at home or in the streets, and whether or not they already committed an offense. If the mentally ill person is violent or is posing a threat, the police should first respond and secure the location, then make a call to the community mental health crisis team. The police should evacuate and secure individuals and property if necessary, and also provide security and remain on the scene until the CMHCT arrives. Upon the arrival of the CMHCT, the police should hand over the situation to them, but maintain the desired level of security for the safety of all concerned. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.